Hi there, this is Thomas Ellenberg coming to you from beautiful downtown Waikiki, Honolulu, Hawaii. And I want to thank Marianne Williamson for once again coming into my life and bringing me a message that I really needed to hear now that I'm in my early 60s. This book, The Age of Miracles, is a wonderful wake-up call to all of us that went into the 60s and did the drug, sex, and rock and roll, consciousness raising, did it all, and really believed at one point that we were really going to save the world, that we were really going to upset the dominant paradigm, the militaristic, capitalistic paradigm that was in control and took us into Vietnam. But then, as I say in my book, Uncle Tom's Classroom, right here, as I say in my book, in the 70s, the government poured so many drugs into the Haight-Ashbury, and we were weak, and many of us fell into the whole drug, sex, and rock and roll consciousness raising pattern. And instead of changing the world, we opened our little businesses and we decided to develop me, and we ended up creating this kind of self-actualized super me generation, in which we thought if we could just make me powerful enough and big enough and rich enough that somehow or other that would save the world. Well, now, as Marianne says so brilliantly in this book, that those of us who now like rocking in our rocking chairs, it is time for us to rock the world as we contemplate the truth of why we are here. This is it. We'd better fix it. Joel Goldsmith wrote that 33 civilizations have already come and gone because they didn't realize the main number one challenge for species like ours, which develops high technology, that without love and compassion, without what Marianne calls the vibration of caring, just simple caring for each other, without that, the technology automatically self-destructs. It is now that point. It is 11:59 on our clock for our civilization. And those of us that came out of the 60s and who are in our 60s now, I know Marianne isn't yet, but it is really time for us to have what I would like to call the second super 60s. The 60s where we finally do what we came, as Marianne said in this book, to do. So as my part of it is, I just finished 37 years teaching, and I wrote this book, Uncle Tom's Classroom, How One Public School Teacher Awakened His Students to the Cosmic Super Self Within. This was my path. This was my awakening, like Neo in the Matrix, in which I woke up inside the system as a public school teacher, teaching every grade from K through 8. And realized that we were dumbing down our kids. The school system was not, in spite of the fact there are many wonderful, wonderful teachers and administrators, the school system was using terror and fear to control kids and to stop them from thinking their own thoughts, and certainly stop them from connecting with who they really, really, really are. So what I did was I gave them freedom, which I talked about on my other messages to Marianne tonight. But what I'd like to do is read to you our Declaration of Independence, which I think encapsulates the message that we came up with in San Francisco once we threw away the old textbooks and we decided to actualize our true super selves. This is what we wrote. There are moments in the course of all human affairs when we as a race and also as individuals find ourselves at a crossroads. This third millennium is one of those transformational moments. We are poised at a pivotal point in our evolution as a species. The cosmic super self, that's the divine self, is calling to us to wake up to who we really are while there's still time. We are being invited to step forth now and declare our total and absolute freedom from the past. The choices we make today will influence and affect many generations to come. Now it is incumbent upon us to declare our divinely ordained independence now. We are the ever unfolding divine extensions of the one all-powerful super self of the universe. We are the living, loving rays of the one divine I am, shining forth as radiant expressions of cosmic consciousness, incarnating in the flesh. We now awaken from all beliefs and thought systems that blinded us to the existence of the God power that percolates up through us. There is a living, loving light, a God being shining within us, and it is our conscious connection to this level of supreme cosmic consciousness that guarantees our ability to be free while we live on planet Earth, to be equal, co-creative transparencies for God to shine through here on planet Earth. We declare, therefore, that we shall assist our species. This is what Marianne is saying. It's time that we do this. We shall assist our species in awakening to the one supreme, all-knowing cosmic consciousness that looks out through all of our eyes, thinks through all of our minds, loves through all of our hearts, and creates through all of our dreams. We are one being, one vast super selfhood. We now therefore vow to begin to consciously co-create multi-dimensional miracles for our race and for our planet, remembering always to honor the all-responsive presence and liberating power of the supreme mind that lives within us. I go on to discuss our intention, but what I found out in writing this with my kids in San Francisco was that when you give children freedom to really explore who they are and you stop using the system to brainwash them, they wake up. They don't actually even wake up. They stay awake, because as you and I both know, we were awake when we came in. We were put to sleep by the systems, but we were awake. We knew joie de vivre. We knew we were God beings. We sensed our Christ self, our Buddha self. That is possible to retain. And if we want to save this planet, and if we want to save this civilization, the way to begin is to liberate our children. Uncle Tom's Classroom, I want to send this to you, Marianne, and I would really like your help and your Institute's help in getting the word out. For those parents who have given up the idea that the system even can be fixed, Chapter 10 is how to set up your own home school of the Cosmic Super Self and do it at home, because with the internet we have access now to help our children develop their own incredible curriculums. I mean, I had kids learning Einstein's theory of relativity and studying quantum physics in the 5th and 6th grade and totally getting it. So this is Thomas Allen Berg speaking to you from Waikiki. Uncle Tom's Classroom can be found at www.uncletomsclassroom.com. And I would like to say thank you, Marianne, for waking me up as a child of the 60s and reminding me, and all of us who are now in our real 60s, that it's time that we resurrect, as the Course in Miracles said, the spirit, the real spirit of the 60s, and have what was stopped, but we can have now the real revolution of the 60s, the revolution that will liberate our culture and our civilization, starting with our children, into their miraculous God super selfhood. One of the things that it's fun to do when you're trying to infiltrate the school system with cosmic truth is that you change vocabulary, and that's what we did in my classroom in San Francisco. We called the inner God self, we couldn't use God, so we called it the cosmic super self within. So I submit that when we come together and we decide that we are cosmic super selves, we can take back our power from the thought systems and control systems and institutions that say they have power over us, but they really don't, because we're the ones with the God power that will change our world from a prison into a paradise.